My dad inspired me to be an entrepreneur because he himself was an entrepreneur. So he had a great job at a major corporation in Nigeria, but then he decided one day to give that up and pursue starting his own business. And so that inspired me to become an entrepreneur. He was also a risk taker, the very fact that he sort of gave up the comfort of a stable job to start his own business. And he was incredibly hardworking, right? So I vividly remember many late nights in which he was working into the night, and all that really inspired me to become an entrepreneur.
What's interesting about Calendly is from the outside, it almost seemed to come out of nowhere because Tope had funded it himself, he bootstrapped it, and then all of a sudden it was worth $3 billion last year with the latest venture round. So that was really interesting. It was sort of like the same way that MailChimp, which is also an Atlanta company, had come out of nowhere in that way. So at this point, Calendly is quite a substantial company. It has over 400 people, over 100 million in revenue, and it could double its revenue again this year. So Tope is a new billionaire this year on the list. He's worth 1.4 billion based on his majority stake in the company, and that's after the 10% discount that Forbes takes on all privately held company shares.
The idea for the company came from a frustrating experience I had trying to schedule a meeting. So I was looking to schedule a very important customer meeting, and many days later and many emails later, we still were no closer to finding a time. This inspired me to really learn about the problem of scheduling and why it was so difficult. And out of that sort of investigation came this obsession with solving scheduling. Since then, the product has evolved into more than scheduling, into sort of what we call automating the meeting lifecycle. So automating the key tasks that happen during the preparation and follow-up of the meeting so that our customers can have great meetings. One of the lessons I learned very early on in starting businesses is that first thing you want to do is when you see a problem, take action. Rather than wait for somebody else to solve a problem, there's no reason why you can't take a stab at solving it yourself. And so action is important, but I also learned that really having a differentiated approach, right? What is going to be different about your product or service? What is going to be different about the way you go to market and sell it and price it, right? All those things are really important. So it's important to do a lot of customer discovery, make sure you really understand the customers and the problem, and have a unique approach to solving the problem.
I think what's interesting about him is he's this super smart guy, but he's also a little bit different than some founders because he didn't really care about having venture money. He didn't really care about some of the external things, but was focused on Calendly and how to make it work. And he really also just believed in himself in the way that he threw everything into it. He spent down his 401k, he flew into Ukraine while it was having its earlier conflict in order to get software engineers there to develop the first product. He bet everything on this company.
Being Nigerian means you grew up in an environment in which there's a lot of economic instability, there's also a lot of political instability. And so what ends up happening is a lot of Nigerians are incredibly resourceful people. And when I look at the success of Calendly today, I think some of that resourcefulness has been a huge part of our success. I bootstrapped the company, which means I started the company with my own funds, so capital is very limited in the early days, but I actually attribute this limited capital to the company's success today. The reason is it forced us to focus wisely. It also focused us to really understand problems at a deep level, which meant that we could implement simple, effective solutions to solve the problem. I'm really proud of the fact that last year we crossed $100 million in revenue. That was a huge milestone for us because if you rewind back to 10 years ago, nobody really knew that there was a massive problem to be solved here. And the fact that we've done that has been really exciting.